Yeah, I like that. That's looking really, really nice. It's an incredibly futuristic scene. It's like a spaceship's landed here or something like that. Good afternoon, everyone. Is this landscape photography? Maybe urban landscape. I think cityscape is the way to describe it, because this is the city of art and science in Valencia. First thought is to set up somewhere along here and shoot out looking over that way. Now the sun is going to be setting over there behind me. Could mean that we get some really nice light on the building here, but if it's windy like it is now, we're not going to get any reflections, and I think without reflections I'm not sure how well this is going to work. Might be able to get a little bit with a long exposure, maybe using some ND filters, 10-stop filter maybe. But this is one possible location, but once the sun gets too low I'm going to have a problem with my own shadow getting in the shot, so I may have to think about another option. Okay, so coming over this side will overcome any problems I have with my own shadow in the frame, but will mean that we're not getting great light on this side of the hemisphere building. So again, it might work, and I think this end is definitely worth doing a little bit earlier on, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour even before sunset coming around here. But I think once the sun drops a bit lower, it's going to get blocked behind the building over there, and I think then the place to be is going to be down there, down the other end. So I'm going to scout down there now, I think. Yeah, I think this end is definitely going to be better once the sun gets lower. It'll be blocked out by the buildings in the background, which means we won't have to worry too much about sun flare or lens flare. But again, we've got to hope that this water gets a bit calmer, because it really needs reflections for this to work. Fingers crossed. So I think the plan is I'm going to come back here, so sunset's about 7 minutes past 9. I'm going to come back about 8 o'clock and go to the other end where I started off, see what kind of shots I can get there with the scene, with the sun behind me. And then as the sun gets a bit lower, I'm going to come around here and see if we can get something decent at sunset, and then wait around for the blue hour, so probably hanging around till about 10 o'clock time, I would think. I'll be about the point that it gets too dark to do the kind of shots I've got in mind. So that's the plan for this evening, but first I'm going to go and do some other stuff, and then I'll come back later. Into a hotel. We've done a bit of scouting around this location and decided to come back here this evening for a late afternoon, kind of early evening sunset shoot, and going to try to get the best out of the conditions. Now at the moment it's about an hour before sunset, but the sun is dropping quite nicely down now, and I've set up one particular shot here that hopefully is going to work. The challenge is trying to get the scene without the bridge blocking out the top of the frame. Unfortunately, it's a bit windier than I would like, and that means that probably not going to get beautiful reflections. But to try and maximize the chance of that, I'm using the 10 stop ND filter, which is the Lee big stopper, and I'm going to do a shot first of all with the polarizer on. It's 16 to 35 lens at 35mm, f16, ISO 64, and it'll be a 1 minute exposure. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so took a couple of shots over that side, but wasn't really happy with it. I've moved over to the other side. It hasn't done anything for the wind conditions, but it might help a little bit with the way the light's falling on the scene. I don't know. It's worth taking a shot just from a different composition, just to see if it makes any difference. Again, I'm shooting with the 10 stop filter, and at the moment I've taken the polarizer off because I don't think it's helping at all, and I'm going 30 seconds at f16, ISO 64. Okay, so I took a couple of shots at the other end where there was some really nice light from the low sun hitting the sides of the building, but that end was quite windy, the water was really disturbing, we weren't getting reflections. So I've moved around to the other end of this particular building, which is the Hemisphere, and behind it there's this wonderful other building which is the Museum of the Arts. And this end is much calmer, and we've got some beautiful reflections. And in fact, I'm not the only photographer here. There's about 6 or 7 people with tripods set up here. So actually quite an unusual experience for me. So the sun's dropping lower and lower behind the buildings. It's completely blocked now by these wonderful buildings. But the light in the sky is quite nice. It's a shame we haven't got some nice clouds up there to pick up the colours. But it's looking pretty nice. Not sure how long to hang around here this evening. They've started putting some lights on, but I'm not sure if it's worth hanging around to see if there's a blue hour shot to be had once the sun has completely gone down. We'll hang around for a bit longer and see how it looks like things are developing. In the meantime, it's worth just keep on taking the occasional shot as the light changes, because you never know which one's going to be the best. Just a hint of cloud, just a few little bits, just picking up the light and also just reflecting in the water, and it's surprising how much difference that makes to the overall scene. So definitely worth taking a shot while that's there. Probably should have said about 30mm on the 16 to 35 lens, f11. Okay, so we're about 20-ish minutes after sunset, and the lights are coming on and it's getting darker, and it's actually looking really, really nice. Some beautiful blue tones in the sky and in the water, and then the warm lights inside the building just picking out the shapes and the structures. Really, really beautiful. Yeah, I like that. That's looking really, really nice. It's an incredibly futuristic scene. It's like a spaceship's landed here or something like that. In fact, this building was actually used in an episode of Doctor Who a couple of years ago. Very futuristic, very, very nice to photograph. Lovely. Looking beautiful, but we're starting to reach the point now where it's getting dark enough that balancing the artificial light and the ambient light is becoming a problem. I don't think it's going to get much better than we've got now. So I think it's time to pack up and head back to the hotel. So I'm just going to say I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can see some more. Likes, shares and comments as always are really, really appreciated. So until the next video, thanks very much for watching. Bye. Okay, so I was packing up and heading back to the hotel, but couldn't resist coming around and trying one more shot. So I've set up a composition you can see behind me with one end of the Hemisphere building all lit up, and then the Museum of Art, I think it is, behind, also lit up. Okay, I promise this is definitely going to be the final shot, but I just couldn't resist coming around and shooting this hemisphere all lit up. Okay, so that really is it. I'm going to sign off now. Don't forget about the subscribe button. Don't forget about the likes, shares and comments. And once again, thank you very much for watching, and until the next video, bye.